In lesson 98, we're going to talk about relationships of numbers and understanding how to relate numbers to one another. So when we think about numbers, we should think about the number line and how things are located or where things are located on the number line. We should always use that as a frame of reference for the numbers that we see. So if this were 30, be 31, 32, 33, but there are and 34, but there are numbers in between here as well. And those numbers are typically expressed as fractions of a number. And we can constantly break these down into smaller and smaller and smaller units just by dividing them, breaking them in half, breaking them in thirds, breaking them in quarters, breaking them in tenths, breaking them in hundreds. We can always make those numbers smaller, and usually we can make them bigger too. Let's just jump right into this first problem, and I'll show you what I mean. It's really more about basic knowledge and understanding of how numbers work. That's what we're working on right now. So 98.1 says to find the number that is 7/10 of the way from 30 to 40. So think about your number line. You have 30 here, right? And you have 40 here. So 7/10 the way, what we're talking about is going to be range. So what we're looking for is the range of the numbers in between here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract. We're going to say that I need the starting point, 30, plus 7/10 of the way between, or of the distance between 40 and 30. So we're going to get the range of 40 and 30 right here. All right, so 30 plus 7/10 and 40 minus 30 is 10. So when we multiply 7 times 10, we get 70. So 30 plus 70 over 10. When we reduce this is going to be 30, 70 divided by 10 is 7. So the answer is 37. If you think about it, there's 10 spaces between 30 and 40. 7 of those 10 spaces would be up to number 37. So that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be understanding the number line relationship and the range between numbers. So let me put 98.2 up here and we'll solve it. So here we go. 98.2 says find the number that is 1/5 of the way between 1/8 to 9/11. So we need to start with 1/8, right, on the number line. And we're going to add to that the value that is 1/5 of the range between 9/11 minus 1/8. This is the range. So 1/5 of that range is going to be added to the beginning so that we can find that 1/5 stopping point. So the first thing we need to do is find a number in common. And 11 is a prime number, so we have no choice but to multiply it times 8. So we have 1/8 plus 1/5 times 72/88 minus 11/88. And that gives us 1/8 plus 1/5 times 61/88. That gives us 1/8 plus 61/440. So now we have to find a common denominator. So we're going to multiply 8 times 55. So that's going to give us 55/440 plus 61 over 440, if I can write it correctly. And where we got 55 from was first we multiplied by 11 here, and then by 5. So 8 times 11 is 88, and then times 5 is 440. So that gives us a value of 116 over 440. And when we reduce this fraction, we divide the top and the bottom, we find that we can divide it by 4. We get 29 over 110. And that is 1/5 of the way between 1/8 and 9 over 11. We just had to keep dividing until we found a fraction that would fit. And this is how we got there. All right, so let me clear the page, and we'll do 98.3. All right, 98.3 says find the number 2/3 of the way from 2 1/4 to 3 5/6. So the first thing we probably ought to do is get rid of the mixed number, because we hate mixed numbers in algebra. That's for elementary school, not for algebra. So we are going to start with 2 1/4. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1. So 9 over 4 is our beginning point. So we're going to start from there, and we're going to add 2/3 of the range between 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5 is going to be 23. So 23 over 6 minus 9 over 4. So this is the range. We need 2/3 of that range. Okay. So 9 over 4 plus 2/3. And now we have to find a common denominator, which the common denominator will be 12. So we need to multiply this by 3 and this by 2. So that's going to be 46 over 12 minus 3 is going to be 27 over 12. So 9 over 4 plus 2/3 of 19 over 12. All right, so now we multiply 9 over 4 plus 38 over 36, which can be reduced to 19 over 18. So we go ahead and reduce that whenever you can. Always go ahead and reduce. All right, so we're going to add that back to the range. But first we have to find a common denominator. And the common denominator between 4 and 18 is going to be 36. So we're going to multiply this fraction by 9, because 4 times 9 is 36. So it's going to be 81 over 36. And this will be multiplied by 2. So that's going to be 38 over 36, which is our original number that we started with. We really didn't have to reduce it, huh? And that is going to equal 119 over 36. And if you wanted to put this into mixed number form, you could, and I believe that would be 3, and that would be 11 over 36 remaining, because 3 times 36 is going to be 108. Yeah, that's right, 108. All right, and that is how you solve these. You start with the very beginning number, and you add to that the value of the range you're looking for. So you got to find the range here first, multiply it times the distance you're looking for of that range, which in this case is 2/3. And then you finally, once you get that number found, you finally find a common denominator, add it all together, and simplify. All right, pretty easy peasy. You guys can do this in your sleep. This is basic math. It's more about understanding what you're doing than the actual operations themselves, okay? So this is the starting point. This is the distance. This is the range. Okay? Starting point plus the distance times the range. And that is what you're looking for. All right, that's all we have for lesson 98. I'll see you in lesson 99.